Gamers. I'm sure we've all had that one game that we've always wanted to play, but never quite got to. Tales of Xillia was that for me for a very long time. Initially released in 2011 and finally released in English in 2013, the game eluded me for 10 years straight. And then last year, I finally played it for myself. And after 39 hours, I put it down and I realized I had found something really special. A real topper of the Keynote charts. So today, I'd like to take you on the journey of this fantastic, and these days, a little bit underrated game. Let's get started.
'You're likely already familiar with the Tales series, but something that is really important to note is the various different eras that the series has gone through. 2D games from the 90s, 3D games on a 2D plane in the 2000s, weird-ass games that released for the Wii. We don't talk about that one. Xillia comes at the tail end of the games featuring the linear motion battle system, a system that was originated with the very first game and proliferated upon throughout all the most well-known entries. Symphonia, Abyss, Vesperia, this is that design lineage. And Xillia is pretty much where it ended. The series did continue, made some weird-ass games, some pretty good ones too, but even still, Xillia feels like kind of a swan song for the series, a bit of a send-off. To that end, the team cooked up a wonderfully classic story with many modern influences, full of twists and turns to keep you on your toes. In honor of this series' legacy, let's join Jude the med student and Mila, the lord of all spirits, as well as their bright and shining companions for what I believe to be the quintessential Tales experience. We begin our campaign with... Wait, there's two campaigns. We picked the Jude route because the Mila route is best served as a new game plus bonus, if you ask me. After quickly getting an intro to Mila Maxwell, the Lord of Spirits, we get a foreboding signaling of things to come, before entering our boy, Jude Mathis. Jude is kind of a silly, goofy guy. I can only imagine what kind of crazy hijinks he's gonna get himself into. Police brutality, human experimentation, the Lord of Spirits. Wait, Lord of Spirits? We met her. She tried to drown us. We learn about this thing called the Lance of Kresnik. It's some kind of weapon built for various nefarious purposes. Mila starts out super OP, but after some crazy shit happens, we get kinda nerfed, and we're back to square one. Also, Jude is branded a criminal. Great work, man. This is gonna be supreme on the resume. Holy shit, these animated cinematics are fire. That's right. This was animated by Ufotable, currently famous for the Demon Guys series, but at the time, famous for Fate Zero. And we're on that 2011 king shit here. And honestly, all the cinemas in this game look fantastic. The directing and shot comp is elevated to a point above any common character models standing and talking at each other. But that does still happen here, of course. But there is a real sense of artistry throughout. Also, this is bar none my favorite graphical style in the series. The use of cell shading is extremely effective. I kind of hate how Tales games looked on the PS4. Why are they so shiny? Who the hell greased them up? But seriously, they were cooking with these designs. Jude was designed by the Symphonia guy, and Mila was designed by the Destiny guy. And you can tell without it being jarring. I think this is really cool because it bridges the gap between two distinct design senses in the series. And it's even emblematic of the gaps we'll be bridging later on. That sounded weirdly sexual. I didn't mean for that to happen. This is without a shadow of a doubt in my mind the best combat system in the series. The movement is so clean, you just slide across the field. The combos feel weighty and weightless at the same time. Every character slots nicely into their roles, but also has proficiency in all areas. The art customization and combo potential keeps the action up at all times, and it never slows down or gets dull or repetitive or anything. You earn stat boosts and skills from the spiderweb-looking upgrade system, and the skill system in this game makes me swoon. No more weapon skills, just your own fighting prowess, allowing you to obtain much more variance in combat. By the end game, your party will be absolutely stacked. 2 characters on the field can link together, giving them new pair abilities. This is even put into context by the story. The overlimit gauge gives you access to tons of unique union strikes for short cinematic flair and massive damage. And of course, we have mystic arts as well, keeping up the depthy and flashy sides of the combat throughout. The beginning half of the story is all characters. Planting seeds, setting the vibe, really romancing the player into hanging out with these silly, goofy gamers. Jude is, well, he's just sort of here, actually. Not like he can just go back to school being public enemy number 1 and all that. The beginning of his journey is a reluctant one. He doesn't really have his own goal in all this, he's just following Mila. She's the one on the mission here. But he's not a simp. Trust me, this guy is. Remember this. It will be important later. He is shown to be extremely empathetic, always lending a helping hand even when it's inconvenient to him or the rest of the party. Big male life energy going on in these games, huh? Mila is specifically not human. She's always reading books on humanity to get a good framework of them. But most of these books are given to her by a pervy old man. There's a lot of fish out of water hijinks going on here. She doesn't understand a lot of things. Early on, she remains very logical and solely focused on her goal. Humanity has been fucking up the environment with this technology called Spyrex, and she's not having any of that, being the lord of all spirits and everything. Mila learns a lot about what it means to be human. After losing everything in the prologue, she needs to start from square one. And it gives her a lot of space to grow and finally genuinely make connections with others. Even though she's presented as older and wiser than Jude, she still has a long way to go. Alvin is kind of a bitch-ass motherfucker. He comes and goes, he's mysterious. We don't even know that much about him early on. The party often mistrusts him, which is completely understandable because he openly lies to the party multiple times and isn't even shy about it. He's been through a lot and has a lot of shit going on. And he's really only in this for his own game. Initially. Throughout the journey, he finally forms a genuine connection with the party. Something he's never really had before. It also occurred to me while writing this that the traitor is kind of a RPG trope at this point, so Alvin serves as a pretty cool deconstruction of that. And he's got a gun, but that's hush hush for now because we're not supposed to know what that is. Tipo is one of the greatest characters in fiction. I am so done with Western big man gamer types hating on the silly goofy mascot character. Let the goofy ass do his thing. Genuine red flag, I tell ya. Elise is a lost little girl that's more or less adopted by our party because her foster home just isn't working out. She struggles to navigate intense situations due to her young age, but she always stays morally upstanding. We're all pretty naive around here, but Ellie actually ends up giving the party a lot of important insight and perspective. Most JRPGs are filled with young people growing up and figuring out how to live. But Rowan shows us that that growth and development that a person goes through never truly ends. This is a character with more ties to the world and its history than anyone else. He's seen some shit. His military background, advanced tactical knowledge, and all-around wisdom ends up adding a lot to this party. There is honestly so much here. He might be the most subtly in-depth character in the duology. Thank you so much for teaching me about bazongas. Leia gets introduced in the intro by absolutely yeeting a crippled kid. Oh, but he's not actually crippled because he's the one doing the yeeting in the main game. She's been stuck at home all this time, so by the time we get to her, she feels pretty left out of the journey. I'm sure this is something we can all relate to. The feeling of being stuck somewhere in your life, especially when a good friend leaves home, and we come to her when we need her most. Mila can't walk anymore.
The journey is basically on pause at this moment. Her lifelong friendship and crush on Jude is very apparent from the get-go. She joins as a temporary party member at first, but then sneaks onto our ship to permanently join our party. She may not win Jude's heart, but she certainly won mine. Holy shit! This game does not have any central antagonist to speak of, but a whole-ass opposing party. Gaius quickly became one of my favorite characters in fiction. He is basically the polar opposite of Jude. Steadfast, dutiful, determined, bent on protecting and serving his people. Oh yeah, he's a king, by the way. He also feels like the protagonist of his own story, along with his party, the Chimeriad. Granted, they are a little bit more like a rogue gallery, because, I mean, not to say that they aren't complex characters, some of them are just kind of insane, but their presence is palpable. Their impact on and history with our characters is immense. Muse is another spirit we meet like Mila. She calls herself Mila's sister, even though I don't think Mila knew about her until here. She's pretty mysterious. Her and Jude do this thing called direct tethering, and unbeknownst to us, this is basically sex. So that means Jude technically cheated on Mila. And she's also out of here before we can really learn anything.
There's like a lot of shit that happens in this game. Even I kind of forgot about most of it. I think one of Xillia's greatest strengths among its contemporaries in and out of the Tales series is simply how well-rounded the narrative is. It has multiple complete story arcs. It takes significant time to properly paint all of its characters. There's no weak links among the major cast at all. It truly feels like a full package experience, and it's not even that long. This game kind of has it all in a way that no other game in the series does. I think it would be a fantastic intro to the series, and even a great starting point for JRPG newcomers in general. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about a few key moments and then the ending. So if you don't want any spoilers, I've been Protagonist. Thank you so much for watching. Love to have you, don't deserve you. Make sure to check out other videos, the socials, the whole shebang. Subscribe, bell icon, all that. And even if you do get spoiled by this video, know that this game has so much more to offer, and I really think you should experience it for yourself.
Things are really heating up. We've seen and fought against so much corruption poisoning Maxia on both sides, and here it comes to a head. We enter into a series of absolutely sick boss battles with the Chimeriad and Gaius. We do defeat Gaius in battle, but then he starts powering up like he's about to push our shit in. However, the simp from earlier shows up and ruins everything. So remember the Lance of Kresnik from earlier? It actually wasn't a super powerful weapon, but a key of some sorts, opening a rift between Maxia and a whole other world. And if you don't know, a conflict between two worlds is a common theme in the Tales series. But upon this huge event that will send a ripple effect onto the rest of the game and its sequel, we bring it back to ground level and get a bunch of amazing moments and revelations, featuring multiple animated cutscenes. If you're not yet convinced on whether this game is worth your time or not, maybe this will convince you. There's this organization called Exodus, they're doing some bad shit and we gotta stop their ass. After this boss fight here, shit goes bad. There's a huge ass spirit art cast from parts unknown, and the only way to save the party is for Mila to sacrifice herself. Yeah, she's gone, leaving Jude broken and aimless. He was following Mila this whole time. He found his purpose in Mila's mission. We've time skipped a bit here, and the party is no longer traveling together. Leia stays with Jude, but he rejects her care. How does one do justice to this scene, man? So, Alvin is out to kill our ass. He's actually from that other world, and now he has no way of getting home. But he's clearly deeply hurt by Mila's death, just the same as us. Leia is giving everything to fight him off and protect Jude, but Jude remains apathetic, unsure if he even has any reason to live, unsure if his journey meant anything at all. Mila died. Muse turned her back on humanity. The journey we shared, the love we shared, it was not all meaningless. Mila died so that we could go on living. And we have to kick some sense into Alvin to prove our point. What a boss fight. Something I could have never expected. This whole section was so intense and heart-wrenching. Seeing Jude and Alvin so defeated that they nearly resigned themselves to their fate, or what they see as their fate. It illustrates the extreme toll that Mila's death has taken on them, but it also shows that their self-pity is ultimately selfish and destructive. We can't be divided by tragedy. We have to stick together and work our way through this together. We have responsibilities now. We have a mission now. We can't just sit around and feel sorry for ourselves, even if we lost our guiding light. It's time for us to take our journey into our own hands. It's time to grow up.
You see this guy? He's the real Maxwell. Rotting old fuck. Let's fucking kill his ass. He's been using Mila as a tool to keep up the schism, dividing the two worlds. Maxwell isn't the most devious of villains, but he is old as fuck, which is also pretty bad. He is completely stuck in his ways. Even if keeping up the schism keeps the world in balance for the time being, us and many other people are eventually going to suffer for it. Yet, even without Mila guiding us, we now carry the strength and resolve needed to take on the responsibility of both Riza Maxia and Olympius. Honestly, this scene speaks for itself.
Do you really think you have the strength to resist me?
Yes, I do. I know that I do.
What did you say? This is impossible. You must die!
Isn't that right? Mila?
It's peak! It's so peak! Oh, and Mila's back now. Now that Maxwell is defeated, Gaius and Muse show up to fuck up everything. For everyone. Again. They also want to keep the schism up. Muse is kind of losing her mind right now. Gaius is currently the only one telling her what to do / giving her a purpose. They're falling into a sort of toxic situationship. This will be expanded upon in Game 2. While the schism is open, we get sucked. Into Olympius, that is. Well, actually, the game slows down considerably at this point. Before we enter our final battle with Gaius and Muse, we get a lot of time to reflect on the journey and how we've grown so far. We are all growing up, all of the time. No matter what age, no matter where you are in life, nothing is ever static or perfect or seamless. We are all always in a transitional state. It all just disappears, doesn't it? Everything that you are, gone in a moment like breath on a mirror. But times change, and so must I. We all change. When you think about it, we are all different people all throughout our lives. And that's good. That's good. You've got to keep moving forward, as long as you remember all the people that you used to be. Wait. That's from Doctor Who.
Here we are shown 3 extremely important scenes, all serving to set in stone how far our characters have come and how they feel going into the final battle. I don't even know how to describe how rich these are. Everyone is so utterly human, and we see their fears, flaws, and anxieties laid bare. Even at the 11th hour, we still have our doubts. But we've made it this far. Our purpose may not be clear, but we're moving forward together, and we're trying our best. Our final battle is with Gaius and Muse. We've grown quite fond of them throughout our journey, and neither of them could be characterized as straight-up villains. But they stand against us now. We are in disagreement on how the schism should be handled. Gaius puts forth that we should care only for Maxia, surely leaving Olympios to fall to ruin. Despite limited resources, a dying world, and systems that must be changed in the name of progress, Jude, Mila, and the rest of our party vow to unite the two disparate worlds, taking steps for a better future for everyone. It will in no way be an easy path, but we stand ready to take the responsibility. And the battle is incredible. You start off with just Jude and Mila, but then all the party members come back one by one. You get all of their mystic arts. Oh, it just pops off so much. And at the end of the day, Gaius and Muse are still our friends. We just had a disagreement and we worked it out. Ultimately, our path will lead us onto the future, but Gaius vows to come back even stronger and defeat us if the need ever arise. So we assure him that humanity will end up alright. Even after all this, Mila, bound by duty or purpose or her mission, decides to become Maxwell. For real this time. Whatever her reasons may be, she feels that she can't stay with the party anymore. We came all this way together, so now we're all ready for whatever life may throw at us. Although it is common knowledge that this game has a sequel and it released only 1 year later, we do have a little epilogue showing us where all of our characters ended up. Before the sequel, that is. Alvin starts a business, Leia is considering her career and family life, Tipo fucking dies, Ellie goes to school, Gaius and Rowan are the government now, and finally, in the end credits scene, Jude graduates medical school and dedicates himself to researching how to not kill the environment. And that is the end of our journey. Wait, there's one more ending. I completely forgot, but Mila has her own ending. We've just been doing the Jude route this whole time. Mila's out being Maxwell, doing spirit world shit, frolicking. Muse is also there. Good to see more of her. More on that in the next game. I hope I've been an adequate guide through this wonderful little game. Or I completely messed up and now Bamco will never re-release the game ever again, solely to spite me and me alone. Anyways, as always, I've been Brotagonist. If you like what you see here, make sure to subscribe to this channel and the second channel, Brotagonist. Anyways, that about wraps it up. Next time we're doing Xenoblade 2. Be ready.